Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am working with Flair from A Flair for Buttons today, and I am also using a bunch of Shimmerz paints, specifically the Vibez paints. And just a reminder, if you ever feel like buying something from Shimmerz Paints, just use my name in the comments and you'll get a little extra something in your order. So, I'm going to start by showing you something I don't end up keeping. I keep it, but I add a lot more to it. So I change my idea here. My beginning idea, because I was going to use some flair, is I wanted to have a bunch of circles on this layout. It does not end up working. But what does end up working is I do like the color combination that I came up with, and I end up changing my background quite a bit. So I am using 4 different colors. I am using Sunset Strip, Sweetheart, Froget Me Not, and Mango Tango. So the Sunset Strip is kind of a yellow with a little bit of orange in it. The Froget Me Not is colored like a frog, it's green. And then the Sweetheart is pink. And then the Mango Tango has a bit of orange in it and kind of red too. So those are the 4 colors, and they're all from the Vibez collection. They all have a lot of shimmer, a lot. The Froget Me Not is just my most favorite. I think it has so much gold in it. Okay, so what's happened is I went ahead and I made the circles, and as I was going, I was like going, what is going on? I hate this. And so I walked away. Then I came back, and I just decided to spray a bunch of color on. And when I did that, just like you would imagine, my green mixed with the cooler colors, or the warmer colors, excuse me, and created a mess. So I wiped some of that up, and then I decided I would not be quite as frantic and as crazy when I did it, and just use some splattering. Then I walked away and I came back because I wasn't liking it, and I thought, well, if I just start with Sunset Strip, Sweetheart, and Mango Tango, and add those in first, then come back with the Froget Me Not over the top as a separate layer, I think it'll end up working better. And then I just decided I'm just going to do the whole page. So I just started spraying all of the colors everywhere. Then I add a bunch of water over the top. Use the packaging technique. I did get a little bit of muddy, but that was okay. And I just used my paper towel to kind of wipe that up a little bit. Essentially, I made a huge mess. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, am I going to end up with anything that works? But I do feel like I did. I really liked this, and I had to walk away when I was done here after I got all of this, like splattering and spraying and using my paintbrush and all these different things. After I got it all finished, I walked away to let it dry. And then I came back to it and I was like, okay, is this something I can keep? It was a lot of fun, but can I keep it? And if I keep it, how do I use it? And I decided that I really wanted to keep it, but I wasn't sure if I was going to cut it up and do kind of a mixed media that was clean. Use this as my mixed media and then add it as circles or whatever, and maybe not even use it in the same layout. At this point, I just didn't know, but I kind of liked what was happening, so I just kept going. The way I chose my colors, to be honest, was I started with the Flair. The Flair that I'm using has these colors in it, and the photographs that I'm using have these colors in it. And so I thought it just worked perfectly, and so I just kept going. And then I decided I had on my desk, if you remember from my last video, I had cut the Flutterby cut file by the Cut Shoppe twice, because the first time I cut it, it was too small. And I ended up using all of the big ones and then a couple of the smaller ones. And it's actually a cut file that's in a circle, but I cut the butterflies apart. So I ended up deciding to put it behind these butterflies and stitch them down the middle. And I did that a few times. I didn't do it all on camera there for you, but you get the idea. And then, complete honesty here, I did another mixed media background. I used some modeling paste and some different things and ended up not liking it. So I'm starting now fresh with a clean white sheet of paper. Well, sheet of paper, cardstock, whatever. And I found outside is a piece of color cast from Color Cast Designs, and I grabbed my Paige Evans most recent collection and found some layers to put behind my photos. I also found some chipboard. I used several, I think I used items from different collections, but they were all Paige Evans collections. So all of her collections by Pink Paisley come together so nicely. And so, anyway, so this one is not from her most recent one. I can't remember what it's from, but it's washi. And I just cut those 3 butterflies up and applied them to my page. And then I have, let's see. So outside is from Color Cast Designs. The Love is a piece of chipboard. And then I have 2 other pieces of chipboard. All of the chipboard is from, or 3 others actually. It's all from Paige's collections. There's 2 like sprigs of leaves that I think match the photographs perfectly because she's in a weeping willow tree and she's having a blast. And so I go ahead and use those, and they're gold, which is kind of cool because the love is gold. The writing on the pink piece of chipboard there that's underneath the word love is also in gold, and then I used all that gold thread. So I decided to put, you can't see this, it's off camera, I'm sorry, I thought I was on camera, but I wasn't really. I ended up using some foam adhesive on the bottom part of love because I overlapped it with the word outside. So there I was just about to add some mixed media, and I was like, nope, I'm going to glue this stuff down first, because inevitably if I start to add drops of paint or whatever onto my background before I've glued things down, I end up smudging it. And so thank goodness I stopped, but never fear, I will smudge it later. But I fixed that. It was something I was probably going to do anyway. But so here I decided to start gluing stuff down, and I remembered that I wanted to just kind of go crazy with gold thread. And so I got my gold thread out, and I put a huge piece of it, Tango thread, underneath the word outside. And then I decided I really needed to start gluing down the stuff behind my pictures, the layers behind my pictures. So I'm grabbing gold thread, putting down the pattern paper, and then coming back with my ruler here to try to make sure things are kind of straight at least. I don't care about perfection, but anyway. And then that gold leaf, I went ahead and glued that down. And now as I'm going, what I ended up doing was the photograph in the middle, she is looking straight at the camera and has a big smile on her face. So I wanted that to kind of be the focal point. So I added 2 pieces of pattern paper behind that and made it a little bit bigger. Not the photo, but just by adding bigger layers behind it, it gives the illusion kind of it being bigger. And then the other 2 just have one piece of pattern paper behind them, and then they all have tissue paper. I don't know if you can see that in the video or not, so I thought I'd describe that. But anyway, the pattern papers are all from the 6x6 pad, and they all have gold elements in them. So I'm kind of just going crazy with the gold, and it works out perfectly because all of these Vibe products have such a beautiful shimmer in them as well. And it just, I just loved it. Just love that idea. And I was really, really happy with being able to match my Shimmerz paint to the flare, because to be honest, this is one of those layouts where I kind of started with the flare. I mean, I had these pictures and I knew they matched the flare perfectly, and there's more to the collection, the set, I guess, that I haven't used yet. And so I know I'll definitely be using it because it's beautiful and has all these great colors. I think I'm off camera because I'm trying to find another element that I've lost. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and glue stuff down and put a bunch of gold thread behind everything. So behind each of the flare buttons, I'm putting gold thread. And I am placing everything down except for I think my photographs. They're the only things that I haven't glued down yet. And then I do come back in with those same Shimmerz Vibez products, the Froget Me Not, Mango Tango, Sweetheart, and Sunset Strip that match the flare so beautifully. I do come back in with that and add some splatters of paint. And other than that, I think I'm done. Oh no, I have one more thing that I end up doing, and that's when I smudge the paint. But here I'll add the splatters. So these photos were taken last summer. We definitely don't have this much green here yet. We might on a normal spring, but this has not been a normal spring. I can't complain too much. We've had the last 2 or 3 days have been in the 60s or so, which is better than it was the week before. So it looks like the extended forecast is calling for some warmer weather. So I don't know if you saw, but earlier I glued a strip of this same paper that I made as my background with the cardstock and the Shimmerz products. I glued like a couple inches of a strip behind this one side of the page, and then I am roughing it up a little bit, and then I'm going to add that butterfly up there in the corner, partly because I kind of wanted something up in the corner anyway, but also because I smudged the paint when I did it, and I smudged it up in that corner, so worked out fine. So here I'm going to add a little bit more gold stitching along the side. This is one of my favorite parts, I think, is all the gold in this layout mixed with the beautiful colors in the Flair and the Shimmerz products. It's just a nice combination. So once I finished with a lot of stitching over there on the right, I decided it was time to go ahead, glue down my photos, and call it done. I don't think I add anything else. That's it. And then off camera, I went ahead and cut off the edges of the butterflies so that it'll fit in a page protector if I ever actually get this into a page protector. I came back in and added a little bit more Shimmerz products there at the end, but that's it. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this process video. I did speed it up because it did take me a lot of time to make that background with drying time and all of that kind of stuff. So once again, check out the Flair for Buttons shop on Etsy and the Shimmerz Paints shop. And if you buy any Shimmerz, go ahead and use my name in the comments and you will get a little something extra in your package. Thanks a lot. See you soon.